Hi guys, my name is Shalom Drimer. I'm a chiropractor in Glebe, and I really appreciate the opportunity to do this. So what I thought of speaking today about is a concept that I think is going to be really fun and very helpful, I believe, in many aspects in your life. So let's start with a question. Let's imagine for 1 second that I want to send a glass, a champagne glass, for example, let's say to the border between Syria and Iraq. Sending it there, I would have to put it in a box, and I would have to put some kind of sign, other than the address, some kind of sign. The sign I will put on it most likely will be fragile. And the reason I'm going to put the word fragile on it is because this glass is very negatively affected by stress. Anything that can happen to this box, that glass can't take it, and most likely, if it was dropped, it will break. So, here is my question. What is the opposite of fragile? What is the opposite of something that is negatively affected by stress? Most likely, after thinking, you'll say resilient. That's what everyone says, that's what I said. But resilient is something that is not affected by stress. If I took a shoe and I send it to the border between Syria and Iraq, most likely it will get there really well. If we didn't burn it, it will be fine. But resilient then is not really the opposite of fragile. So the question is, what is? I'm going to suggest that something that is the opposite of fragile is something that is anti-fragile, which means it is positively affected by stress. Stress makes it better. Now, why is that important? So, let's stop for a second on this and go somewhere else, and then we'll come back. Most of the things that are happening in our life, we think of it, this is coming from a system theory. Our systems, they're interacting. Now, we have linear systems. Linear systems are a system where one thing causes another thing, and as a response, something else will happen. Really simple system. Another system is a complex system. And believe it or not, most of the things that are happening in our life, most of the things that we are surrounded, life is a complex system. The reason for that is in a complex system, multiple things are affecting multiple things. So for example, if I ask you, what will be the price of a t-shirt tomorrow, you might say, well, it depends on if it's made in China, what's happening in China at the time, what about the boat, what about the container, what about the material, many different things are affecting it, and that's a complex system. Now, complex system can happen in other things, like in psychology. Different things are affecting the mood. In computers, the internet is a complex system. Multiple things are affecting the way it operates. Now, another example is our body. Our body is a complex system. Now, so why is that important? Because in our body, we have multiple things that can affect the way our body functions. So we all know about nutrition, we all know about exercise, many different things can affect how we feel. Now, let's bring in anti-fragility. So, in a complex system, because you have different things can be affecting the way, let's say, our body is, then we have something called hormesis. And hormesis is a situation, this is the only big word you have to learn today. Hormesis is anything that if I put the right amount in, I will create a response, but if I put too much, that can be affecting it in a negative way. So, example of hormesis. If you go into a sauna or a steam room, it's really hot. Now, your body will actually benefit for being in the steam room or the sauna for around 15 or 20 minutes. The heat will actually help enzymes to function better, muscles to release toxins, you'll detoxify, it's helping your breathing, your blood system. Your body actually benefits from it. But if I put you in the steam room or in the sauna, or actually put the heat to be, instead of 70 degrees, I don't even know what it is, or 45, I don't even know. Let's say I'm going to make it into 120 or 250 degrees, that is not going to be helpful. So it's like the body benefits from just the right amount, the sweet spot of the stress, and there it thrives, but you give it too much and it starts to be very bad for it. Another example is, for example, exercise. So when you go and exercise, you're doing yoga in this example, your body the brain gets better as a result of that. Your muscles are getting stretched, or it gets the particular neurological stimulation into the brain. You're becoming stronger. Your blood system is running better. You benefit from it. But too much, if we try to train you with really heavy weight and try to get you to, hey, why don't you carry this truck or car? Well, that will crush your body. So that's another example of hormesis in action. Another one is the immune system. So our body needs some stress. So our body needs to be exposed to different viruses and bacteria and all the things around us to actually maintain a really healthy immune system. If there is no challenge to the immune system, your immune system will actually not function very well. And believe it or not, will actually create false alarms, false stress that will actually be not good for you. So that's where many times you'll have allergies and intolerances and things like that. So that's another example. When I'm doing an adjustment in my practice, whatever the adjustment from the light touch to using cold laser or doing a bigger adjustment, that again is creating an input into the spine, into the nervous system that is creating a stress, but then the body takes it and gets stronger as a result of that. So now let's take it somewhere else. Can we see anti-fragility in our life in other places? So the first thing that I want to say, one of the lessons we can get from anti-fragility is that if something is really anti-fragile, if life is anti-fragile, if the society we live in is anti-fragile, we can actually learn something very, very important, which is being challenged, having challenges can actually give opportunity for growth and evolution. And you can actually learn new skills. You can learn new things about yourself by having those challenges. So, example for that is dyslexia. 10% of the population has dyslexia. Dyslexia, we always thought of dyslexia as learning disability. But in actual fact, we know now that dyslexia is, or the people that have dyslexia, and there are many types, are actually thinking and processing information in a different way than usual. Now, funny enough, 10% of the population has dyslexia, but 30% of all entrepreneurs are dyslexic. A lot of the most famous people you know are dyslexic, and comes the question, how come there are so many dyslexic people that are so successful? And the answer is because they had stress. They had to learn how to adapt their skills into what is happening around them. They learned new techniques. They learned how to develop their best skills so they can perform better. They can think in an original way. And so the stress that happened through the beginning of their life becomes actually an advantage later on. Another example is that we all have heard of post-traumatic stress syndrome. There was a big event, and that has left negative impression of the person. A less known one is post-traumatic growth syndrome. And it is a situation where someone had a very challenging experience in childhood or as they were growing up, which then they took and helped them to become better. Actually made them stronger, better, smarter, with a different goal, different focused in their life, which is, again, you can see that the ability of us to be anti-fragile, having stress, and as a result of that, growing and evolving in action. So this is it for me. If you want to know about it more, the book that this information came from is Anti-Fragile by Nassim Taleb. Absolutely wonderful book. And thank you very much for having me, and good luck.